Why you can understand English, but you can't speak it. If you've ever found yourself nodding along to an English conversation, fully grasping the meaning, only to freeze up when it's your turn to speak, you are definitely not alone. This is one of the most common frustrations for English learners worldwide, and it's something I hear about constantly. In this video, we're going to break down the key reasons behind this phenomenon. We're going to explore 6 main points, plus a bonus one, that will help you understand why you're facing this challenge of being able to understand a lot but not being able to speak it. More importantly, we're not just going to identify the problems. I'm going to offer actionable solutions, strategies you can start implementing today to bridge that gap between understanding and speaking English. So, grab a pen and paper, maybe a cup of coffee, and let's get started on unlocking your speaking potential. All right, let's kick things off with our first point. You don't study English enough. Now, before you start protesting, let me clarify what I mean by studying. Many of you are probably consuming a lot of English every day. You're watching Netflix series without subtitles, you're listening to podcasts, you're reading articles online, and that's fantastic. The passive consumption that you are having now is incredibly important for building your comprehension. But here's the crucial distinction. Passive consumption, while beneficial, is not the same as active, intentional study. When you're just listening or watching something, your brain is primarily in receive mode. It's processing information, recognizing patterns, expanding vocabulary even, but it's not necessarily engaging the production muscles you need for speaking. Think of it like this. You can watch hours and hours of basketball games. You can understand all the rules, the strategies, the player movements. But that doesn't mean you can step onto the court and play like a pro. To play, you need to practice dribbling, shooting, passing. The same applies to English. Active study involves conscious effort to analyze, internalize, and produce language. This means setting aside dedicated time, even if it's just 15 or 30 minutes a few times a week, for activities that push you to use the language. What does active study look like? It could be reviewing a specific grammar point that consistently trips you up. Perhaps it's sentence structure or the past perfect tense. It could be taking a private class where you're forced to speak and formulate responses. It could be working with new vocabulary, not just recognizing words, but actively creating sentences with them, understanding their nuances, and trying to incorporate them into your own speech. Maybe you're writing short paragraphs or essays, forcing yourself to structure your thoughts in English. The key here is intentionality. Are you just letting English wash over you? Or are you actively engaging with it, dissecting it, and trying to recreate it? If you're primarily doing the former, it's time to incorporate more of the latter. Remember, understanding is input. Speaking is output. And output requires active practice. So, be honest with yourself. How much active study are you doing each week? You've been watching my videos and studying for a long time, but let me ask you, do you still feel stuck? Most intermediate learners reach a plateau where they understand a lot, but they can't speak with confidence or master complex grammar. This happens because you've outgrown random videos, and now you need a structured system. That is exactly why I built the B2 Edge app. I took my 20 years of teaching experience and my own journey of learning English to create a step-by-step path to B2 fluency. And I have huge news. The Android version is finally here. After our successful iOS launch last month in November, the app is now officially available on the Google Play Store as well. Inside the app, you get the 77-lesson B2 Blueprint. This is a complete curriculum that covers grammar, vocabulary, and the specific skills you need for B2 mastery. You have an AI speaking coach that allows you to practice speaking and get instant feedback on your pronunciation 24/7, and you also have real writing feedback. The app even corrects her writing assignments to fix those stubborn intermediate mistakes. I'm so proud of the students who have already joined the app and understand the value proposition behind it during our first few weeks on iOS. The feedback has been incredible. And to celebrate the Android launch and the holiday season, I'm offering 20% off for both Android and iOS users once again. This deal is active for both monthly and annual plans, but it only lasts until January 2nd. So, don't wait until January 1st to start your New Year's resolution. Start today. Click the link in the top line of the description right here or in the pinned comment below to download the B2 Edge app and claim your 20% discount. I'll see you inside the app. Now, this might sound contradictory to our first point, but bear with me. Our second reason is you don't consume enough English. I know I just said that active study is crucial, but consistent, broad consumption is equally vital for a different reason. The problem here often arises when a learner focuses too much on formal study, endless grammar exercises, drilling vocabulary lists, meticulously analyzing sentence structures all the time. But this learner neglects to immerse themselves in authentic English content outside of a classroom or formal study setting. Imagine trying to learn to cook only by reading cookbooks and practicing chopping vegetables, but never actually tasting food, watching a chef, or even experiencing a meal. You would understand the mechanics, but you will lack the flavor and the natural rhythm. When you don't consume enough English, especially content that genuinely interests you, you miss out on several key things. First, you miss out on natural language acquisition. Our brains are incredible pattern matching machines. The more we hear and read English in natural contexts, the more intuitively we pick up on correct sentence structures, common idioms, phrasal verbs, and appropriate word usage, without even consciously studying them. This is how native speakers learn their language. Second, you miss out on a vocabulary in context. You might learn a word from a list, but consuming English shows you how that word is actually used in real-life conversations, different shades of meaning, and which prepositions go with it. This makes it much easier to recall and use it yourself. Third, listening comprehension and speed. Because the more you listen, the better your ear becomes at distinguishing sounds, understanding different accents, and processing information at a natural pace. This directly impacts your ability to keep up in a conversation. Fourth, you miss out on motivation and enjoyment. If all your English exposure is rote learning, it can quickly become a chore. When you consume content you actually enjoy, whether it's sci-fi movies, cooking shows, video game streams, fashion blogs, or historical documentaries, you're learning without it feeling like work. This enjoyment fuels consistency. So, the solution is simple but powerful. Make English a constant presence in your life. This means daily input. Change your phone language to English. Find YouTube channels on topics you love. Listen to podcasts while you commute or exercise. Read news articles or blogs about your hobbies. Don't just save English for study time. Integrate it into your leisure time as well. The more you expose your brain to natural flowing English, the richer your internal database becomes, making it easier for your speaking muscles to draw from it when needed. It's like filling up your linguistic gas tank, just like you fill up the gas tank in your car. You can't go far without enough fuel. Moving on to our third point, and this is a big one for many high achievers. Why you understand English but you can't speak it. You have unrealistic expectations about your speaking. Let me paint a picture here. You are a highly intelligent, articulate, and successful individual in your native language. You're probably adept at expressing complex ideas, debating nuanced topics, using sophisticated vocabulary, and perhaps even employing humor and sarcasm with ease. You are a fluent, confident communicator. Now, when you try to speak English, especially at an intermediate level, you suddenly find yourself struggling. You can't find the right words. Your sentences feel clunky. You might make grammatical mistakes, and you certainly can't crack the same witty jokes or engage in deep philosophical discussions. And this, understandably, is incredibly frustrating. The problem isn't that you lack intelligence or capability. The problem is that you are comparing your developing English speaking ability to your highly refined, lifelong mastery of your native language. This comparison creates an unrealistic expectation that you should be able to communicate with the same level of sophistication, nuance, and speed in English as you do in your first language, right from the get-go. This often leads to self-censorship. You have a complex thought, but you realize you don't have the vocabulary or the grammatical structures to express it perfectly in English. So you either simplify it too much, or worse, you just don't say anything at all. You freeze. You become afraid of making mistakes, afraid of sounding too simple, or afraid of not being able to fully articulate your ideas. The solution here is all about patience and managing your expectations. You need to accept that it is perfectly okay, and indeed normal, to speak in a simpler, more direct way, especially when you are still learning a language. Give yourself permission to make mistakes. Give yourself permission to use simpler vocabulary and sentence structures. Focus on getting your message across clearly, even if it's not perfectly elegant or sophisticated as you do in your first language. Think of it like building a house. You start with a strong foundation and basic walls before you start adding the intricate decorations and furniture. Your level of communication will grow and evolve over time. Trust the process. The more you speak, even simply, the more confident you will become, and the more your ability to express complex ideas will develop. Don't let the pursuit of perfection paralyze your current progress. Celebrate every time you successfully convey a message, no matter how basic it might seem to your internal critic. Be kind to yourself, adjust your expectations, and trust the process. Great communication in English will come, but it is time to grow from simpler beginnings. All right, let's move on to our fourth point, why you understand English but you can't speak it. And this one might seem obvious, but its importance cannot be overstated. You don't practice speaking enough. It's that simple. Think about any skill you've ever learned, like riding a bicycle, playing a musical instrument, driving a car, or playing a sport. Did you become proficient just by reading about it or watching others do it? No, you had to physically do the action. You had to put in the hours, make mistakes, feel awkward, and keep trying until it became more natural. Speaking a language is exactly the same. It's a motor skill. Your mouth, tongue, vocal cords need to be trained to produce new sounds and connect words in new patterns. Your brain needs to practice retrieving vocabulary and assembling sentences in real time under pressure. If you're not actively practicing speaking, those muscles and neural pathways simply won't develop. Many learners fall into the trap of focusing heavily on listening, reading, and even writing, but they avoid speaking because it feels intimidating or uncomfortable. And then they wonder why they can understand everything but can't produce a single sentence when the moment arises. It's like a swimmer who only practices on dry land and then wonders why they can't swim in the water. So, what's the solution? You need to create opportunities for speaking practice, and lots of them. And don't wait for the perfect opportunity either, because it might never arrive. Here are several actionable ways to practice speaking. First, find speaking partners. This is the gold standard. Look for online language exchange groups on platforms like Facebook or Discord. Many communities are dedicated to connecting English learners with each other, or even with native speakers looking to learn your own language. This allows for low-pressure, informal conversations. You can also consider hiring a private teacher or signing up for a formal course. If your budget allows, A dedicated teacher can provide structured conversation practice, correct your errors, and give you personalized feedback. Formal courses also often include group activities that force you to interact in English. You can try joining conversation clubs. Check if there are any English conversation clubs in your local area or online. These are often free or low cost and provide a supportive environment for practicing with others. And of course, you can always practice speaking alone. This is incredibly powerful and something you can start doing immediately. Talk to yourself out loud. Narrate your day. Describe what you're doing. For example, I'm making coffee now. But first, I need to fill the kettle. Then I'll boil the water. You see, explain tasks to yourself. You can also employ shadowing. Listen to a native speaker from a podcast, a YouTube video, or a movie clip, and try to imitate their speech, rhythm, and intonation as closely as possible, almost at the same time they are speaking. This trains your mouth muscles. It's excellent. Also, record yourself. Use your phone to record your voice. Describe a picture, summarize a video you watched, or answer common interview questions. Then, listen back. You will hear your own mistakes and areas for improvement, and you will get used to the sound of your own voice in English. Also, of course, practice thinking in English. As you go about your day, try to internally narrate your thoughts in English. What are you seeing? What are you planning to do that day? How are you feeling? This helps you to access English vocabulary and sentence structures more quickly. The key here is consistency. Even 10 to 15 minutes of speaking practice a day or talking to yourself while you're doing chores adds up significantly over time. Don't be afraid to sound silly or make mistakes. Every single mistake is a learning opportunity. The more you speak, the more confident you will become, and the more natural the words will start flowing. Start speaking today, even if it's just to yourself. Our fifth point delves into a deeper, sometimes overlooked aspect. You are afraid of speaking in public. Now, this isn't just about learning English. It's about a broader anxiety that might be impacting your ability to speak in any language, but especially one you're less confident in. Many people, even in their native language, experience some level of shyness, social anxiety, or a fear of public speaking. They might be introverted, or they might simply dread being the center of attention, making mistakes, or being judged. If this describes you in your native language, these underlying fears are amplified when you're asked to speak in English. Suddenly, all those fears are magnified. The fear of sounding unintelligent, the fear of making a grammatical error, the fear of mispronouncing a word, or simply the fear of not being able to express yourself adequately can become paralyzing. You might know the words, you might understand the grammar, but the sheer anxiety of opening your mouth in front of others can shut you down completely. Your brain might go blank, or you might start stammering, not because of a lack of English knowledge per se, but because of performance anxiety. The solution here involves addressing the root cause, which goes beyond just language learning. It's a personal development journey. So you can start small and build gradually. Don't throw yourself into a debate club if you are terrified of speaking. Begin with one-on-one conversations with a supportive friend or even a tutor. Then you can move to small groups where you feel more comfortable. Gradually increase the size and formality of your speaking environments. Baby steps. Focus on the message, not perfection. When you're speaking, try to shift your focus from how do I sound to what message do I want to convey. Remind yourself that the goal is always communication, not flawless performance. Of course, practice self-compassion. Understand that it's normal to feel nervous. Acknowledge your fear, but don't let it control you. Celebrate small victories like successfully ordering food or asking a simple question. And focus on general confidence building. Consider activities that help build confidence in social situations in general. Maybe you could try joining a local club, even if it's not English focused initially. You could try taking acting or improvisation classes. These are fantastic for thinking on your feet and letting go of perfectionism. Or even something like Toastmasters International, which is specifically designed to help people overcome public speaking fear. You can also engage in mindfulness and breathing techniques. Simple breathing exercises can help calm your nerves before and during a conversation. Focusing on your breath can bring you back to the present moment and then reduce anxiety. Remember, this isn't a quick fix, but a process. By slowly exposing yourself to speaking situations and working on your general confidence, you will find that your English speaking ability will naturally improve as your anxiety diminishes. It's about overcoming a mental block as much as it is about linguistic skill. And finally, our sixth primary reason why you understand English but can't speak it, which might be a bit of a surprise for some of you. You don't communicate very well in your native language in the first place. This is a really important point because if you struggle with fundamental communication skills in your first language, those challenges will inevitably carry over and often be amplified when you try to speak English. Think about what makes someone an effective communicator in general, in any language. It's not just knowing words and grammar. It usually involves clarity and enunciation. Do you often mumble or speak too quickly, even in your native language? Are your words unclear? It also involves voice projection and volume. Do people frequently ask you to speak up? Or are you sometimes too loud? It involves spacing and pauses as well. Do you speak in a monotone rush? Or do you use strategic pauses to emphasize points and allow your listening to process? What about body language and nonverbal cues? Do your gestures and facial expressions support your message? Or do they contradict it? Or are you too stiff? It also involves thought organization. Do you structure your thoughts logically? Or you jump between ideas, making it hard for listeners to follow you? And of course, active listening. Are you truly listening to others, or are you just waiting for your turn to speak? If you struggle with any of these aspects in your native language, it's going to make speaking English even harder. For example, if you mumble in your first language, you will likely mumble in English, and that will make you even more difficult to understand. If you struggle to organize your thoughts coherently in your native language, you will find it incredibly challenging to do so in English, where you're also battling vocabulary and grammar issues at the same time. The solution here is to develop your core communication skills in your native language first. This isn't about ditching English. It's about building a stronger foundation that will support your English journey. So, how do you do that? First, seek feedback. You can ask trusted friends, family, or colleagues for honest feedback on your communication style in your native language. Do you speak too fast? Too softly? Are you clear? You can practice active listening. Work on truly listening when others speak, asking clarifying questions, and summarizing what you've heard. This improves your ability to engage in a dynamic conversation. Again, record yourself. This is a powerful habit. Record yourself speaking in your native language. This can be incredibly revealing. You might notice habits you weren't aware of, like speaking too quickly, using filler words excessively, or mumbling. And you can also take a public speaking course in your native language. If available, these courses are designed to improve all aspects of verbal communication, from projection and articulation to structuring arguments and managing nerves. Read aloud. I love that habit. Reading books aloud, or articles or scripts in your native language, can help you practice clear enunciation, pacing, and vocal control. By becoming a clearer, more confident, and more effective communicator in your first language, you will naturally transfer many of those good habits and improved skills to English. You'll be focusing less on the mechanics of communication and more on the message, which is exactly what you want when learning a new language. A strong communicator in one language has a huge head start or advantage in becoming a strong communicator in another language. Now, before we wrap things up here, I have a bonus point for you. And honestly, this might be the most crucial one for many of you. You are not patient enough. That's why you understand English, but you can't speak it. We live in a world of instant gratification. We expect quick results, and when we don't get them, it's easy to get discouraged, feel like we're failing, or give up entirely. But learning a language, especially developing speaking fluency, is a marathon, not a sprint. It's a midterm to long-term process. Think about the 4 core language skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. For almost every language learner, speaking is usually the last skill to fully develop. It's often the most challenging because it requires real-time retrieval, assembly, and production under pressure. You might become quite good at understanding English relatively quickly. You can read books, watch movies, and follow conversations with good comprehension. This is fantastic progress, and you should celebrate it. But then you hit a wall when it comes to speaking, and you think, what's wrong with me? I understand everything, but I can't speak. There's nothing wrong with you. This is a completely normal part of the language learning journey. I can tell you from my own experience, my listening, reading, and writing skills always developed significantly faster than my speaking ability. It took a lot more sustained effort and time before I felt truly comfortable and fluent speaking English. Your brain is constantly absorbing and processing, building a massive internal database of English vocabulary, grammar, and expressions. This is the foundation. Speaking is the act of accessing that database and producing language on the fly. That transition takes time, practice, and a lot of trial and error. So, the solution is simple, yet incredibly difficult for many people. Be patient with yourself. Embrace the journey. See language learning as an ongoing adventure, not a destination you need to rush to tomorrow. Enjoy the small victories. Also, trust the process. Understand that your brain is doing a lot of work in the background. Even when you don't feel like you're improving, consistent effort compounds over time. Focus on progress, not perfection. Instead of aiming for perfect fluency tomorrow, focus on being a little better than you were yesterday. Can you say one more sentence? Did you understand a complex idea you couldn't before? Those are all wins. And of course, don't compare yourself to others. Everyone's journey is unique. Some people pick up speaking faster, others slower. Focus on your own growth. And of course, keep going. The biggest enemy of fluency is giving up. Even if you take breaks, always come back to it. Consistency, even in small doses, is more effective than intense bursts followed by long periods of inactivity. The ability to speak fluently and confidently will come, but it requires sustained effort and a great deal of patience. Don't let impatience lead to frustration and burnout. Keep practicing, keep consuming, keep studying, and trust that with time, your speaking will catch up to your understanding. It's a natural progression, and you're on the right track. So, there you have it. 6 key reasons, plus the crucial bonus point, why you understand English, but feel like you can't speak it properly yet. From not studying actively enough, to not consuming English enough, to having unrealistic expectations about your speaking, insufficient practice, fear of public speaking, and even foundational communication issues in your native language, these are all common hurdles. And underpinning it all, often, is a lack of patience. But remember, understanding English is a huge step already. You've already built a significant foundation. Now it's time to bridge that gap to speaking. I want to encourage you to revisit these points I presented to you today. Identify which ones resonate most with you. Are you an active studier, but perhaps not consuming enough English? Or are you consuming tons of English already, but avoiding speaking practice? Be honest with yourself, because that self-awareness is the first step towards lasting and true improvement. Then, pick one or two actionable strategies from today's video and start implementing them today. Don't try to change everything at once. Small, consistent efforts lead to massive results over time. Start practicing speaking alone. Find a language partner, or simply adjust your expectations. I truly believe that with consistent effort, patience, and the right strategies, you can absolutely unlock your speaking potential. Your voice deserves to be heard in English. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you're new here for more English learning tips, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And most importantly, I would love to hear from you in the comment section below. Which of these points from today's video resonated with you the most? And what are your biggest struggles when it comes to speaking English? And maybe what strategies have you found helpful in your journey? Let's keep the conversation going here under the video in the comment section. Don't forget to download my new app, the B2 Edge. Now the app is available on all platforms. It's available on iOS, on the web version if you use a browser on your PC, and now also on Android. And to celebrate that, I'm extending the promo from the Black Friday deal now as a holiday deal, 20% off again your monthly subscription or your annual subscription. It's a proven step-by-step curriculum. The app is highly personalized. You're going to feel like the app is talking to you every single day, like directly to you and your interests. And you're going to be following my best coaching strategies and tips. So link in the description of the video. I'm looking forward to having you try the app. And of course, if you want to keep learning, I highly recommend to check out this lesson right here. I go over a crucial point here that many people overlook, many people ignore, and you don't want to miss it. So click right here and watch this lesson next.